I'm Orion the New God. I'm back. It's been a long time. The Superman trailer is out, and I fucking hate it. I honestly don't understand how James Gunn has any fans that are on his side. I feel like everything he says is just so detrimental to the brand, to these characters. You can check out my super old videos. He just doesn't know how to treat these characters. He doesn't really have any organization, any real plan. We'll get to the trailer, but this interview for Creature Commandos really honestly just pissed me off so much. I made the point before, Creature Commandos is a terrible start to your new DC universe. And I only saw the first two episodes because honestly that show is fucking terrible. There's plenty of content out there that's actually great content for adults that is animated. Creature Commandos is not one of them. I feel like it's lazy, it's very arrogant. The animated version of James Gunn is in the intro to Creature Commandos, which I thought is fucking terrible. Like super arrogant, super selfish, super self-important. If you're gonna put yourself in the intro and like have that much credit and ownership over something, I would assume that like him as a writer would be very specific about the projects that he chose and puts forward as like, hey, I wrote this, give me the credit because I wrote something amazing. You would think that there's some level of like incredible depth to it. Honestly, at least in the first few episodes of Creature Commandos, it's just a bunch of nonsense. He just writes nonsense. And I get that it's like okay as like a plot point and this plot point connects to this, but there aren't any like real themes, there aren't any real lessons. There's like zero depth to any of his projects, honestly. Brace yourself, because this is fucking so difficult for me.
What made you decide to go animated with the debut of the new DCU?
I don't remember. I really
What?
don't remember. I
The
think
fuck
I
do you
just
mean?
was like, kind of wanted to do something animated, and I wanted to do something with Creature Commandos for a while, and so
Okay.
I just started writing this thing. And
Okay.
we didn't have a deal, didn't have anything. I just wrote 7 episodes of.
You had a
this,
deal before
TV
you were the
show,
boss, you fucking dumbass.
and was into it, and so then
That's why you wrote Creature Commandos. You already had a deal for the Suicide Squad characters. That was your corner of the universe. Like Amanda Waller was basically given to you. Your wife is in those movies. The only reason that Creature Commandos is your number one thing that you're releasing as the DCU is because you already had contracts done for it. You already had that thing like halfway through production. It was written already. It was probably halfway animated. And then you were still just like cycling through voice actors as you announced your whole DC slate.
anything. I just wrote 7 episodes of this TV show, and was into it. And so then, I luckily had a really great CEO in DC Studios which was me, and I greenlit my own show.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, how does that work actually?
That's
It
how
doesn't.
works.
Then we get idiots like you being super self-centered, putting all of your fucking credits up front.
Absolute power.
Like this nonsense that was already in contract from the previous regime, and now you have to fucking make it kind of make sense, which it doesn't. It doesn't make any fucking sense. The conversation that like justifies why Frank Grillo is Rick Flag Sr. is honestly one of the most insulting fucking things that you could have done. However the fuck Frank Grillo ends up in the fucking Superman movie will make zero sense. It will make zero fucking sense. It's the same Amanda Waller from fucking Harley Quinn. There's scenes with fucking Ben Affleck Batman fucking on top of Jared Leto's Joker car. Like, there's no way that any of this is going to make sense.
How did you decide on the roster for this particular incarnation of the Commandos?
I really don't remember.
You're a fucking idiot, dude. Stop bullshitting with like, I don't remember, I don't know, I don't care, does it matter? These are good stories. No, they're not, dude. They're not. Good stories happen when you have an idea of what you're going to fucking say. If you're not writing anything that's worth saying to the entire world, what the fuck are you doing? If you're just gonna be like, oh, I don't know, this one was cool, that one was cool, I liked him. Like, this is fucking stupid. Like, no, there should be a fucking good, solid reason why every character is in that roster. And not just something to do, like, plot-wise, but something to actually fucking hone in on as a theme. Something to fucking actually put out there as good messaging in every movie. And this dude just ignores all of that shit. He's just like, I'm just having fun. Fuck you, dude. No one else is having fun. You're the only one having fun.
what's canon and what's not these days in the DCU? Because obviously, like, we have Weasel, we have aspects of the Suicide Squad and Peacemaker as well.
Yeah.
Like, what is your thinking in terms of how that works?
No,
Real simply, nothing for sure is canon unless you see it in Creature Commandos forward for the DCU.
Okay.
Now, in Creature Commandos, you'll hear them talk about things that happened in Suicide Squad or Peacemaker. Well, then those things automatically become canon.
What the fuck is this? It's canon because I fucking said so? No, dude, you cannot just fucking, like, make a new season of fucking Peacemaker after fucking Superman when Peacemaker's straight tied into fucking Amanda Waller, straight tied into fucking Harley Quinn and that version of Joker and fucking Ben Affleck Batman. At the end of Black Adam, Henry Cavill shows up as, like, a fucking messenger for Amanda Waller. Like, you cannot just switch this shit up and have it make zero sense and never explain anything. This is so fucking stupid.
Truth is, almost all of Peacemaker is canon, with the exception of Justice League Earth.
You're late, you dickheads.
Which we will, kind of deal with in the next season of Peacemaker.
What do you mean? You chose to put him there. You're the sole, like, fucking producer on that show. I'm pretty sure you're, like, the sole writer on it, too, because you fucking like doing that shit, even though I'm sure you have a fucking team of writers that's helping you, but you get all the fucking credit for it. I don't know. I'm just saying. But anyways, none of this makes sense. How the fuck are you yourself going to write in a scene where Ezra Miller and Jason Momoa are both in it? The other Justice Leaguers are stand-ins. I fucking get it. But that is obviously Henry Cavill Superman, and that is obviously Gal Gadot Wonder Woman. You chose to do that. And now you're saying, like, oh, this is the only thing that's not canon. Fuck you, dude. You made it canon by putting it in the show. You chose to put that in there. And now you're pretending like somehow you're gonna do anything in Peacemaker 2 that makes any fucking sense for that. Peacemaker barely made sense, period. It was such a bad show. It's so terrible. Creature Commandos, Peacemaker, a Suicide Squad, they all have zero depth to them. They're all so fucking dumb. They're all paper thin.
But really, to be totally sure, everything that's purely canon is Creature Commandos through Superman, through Lanterns, Supergirl, Peacemaker, season 2.
I mean, does canon matter anymore anyway?
Well, one of the weird things to me is that none of this is real. It may be alarming to people, but none of it is real. It's all just stories that we're telling about characters, and hopefully there's
That's not a justification
stories
for your lack of attention to detail.
Characters, so they act.
You, as a writer, had to fit into the world or create a world, wherever you are in the level of development of these characters, of the world, of whatever the fuck it is. It's your job as a writer to fucking make shit make sense. And if you can't make shit make sense and make something good, you're not a good enough writer to take this on. You're just not. There's no way that any of this is ever going to make any sense. We lost the opportunity because of this fucking idiot to ever have a clean slate, a clean start to a new DC universe that makes any fucking sense. We're just going to carry on from fucking Peacemaker because he had ownership of it. He's got way too much ownership over Peacemaker, Suicide Squad, all of these characters. That's why he uses these characters. He even said in an interview, they offered him Superman a long time ago, way before they made him the boss. He wasn't going to do Superman because Superman's an iconic character that he himself is not going to have full ownership over at all. Like, even this new Superman movie that he is producing, it's Superman. He's one of the many directors that have taken on Superman. Whereas Suicide Squad, all of those characters are pretty much his creations on screen. Obviously, they're referenced from actual comics and those creators and that kind of stuff. But this guy's not gonna fucking give them any credit other than, like, Easter eggs and shit like that. It's about him. It's not about the characters. It's not about DC or the Trinity.
The performers, the animators, they all care about these stories. But it's not real.
Right.
So what's canon can really be whatever you want to be canon. If you want to pretend that, Greedo and Batman go on, adventures together, you can pretend Greedo and Batman go on adventures together. That can be your canon. I know that is your
You just stole my fan fiction.
Bro, this is not funny. You cannot just ruin the entire history of these characters, especially icons that are 100 years old, that are actual modern legends of literature. Superman, he's the man of tomorrow. He's about inspiration. It's this extension of fantasy. Batman is the best example of human potential. That is an important message to put out there. And just to treat it like this, like, oh, it's whatever. Batman can be in space with Greedo and do whatever the fuck you want. Like, no, no. This is not funny. Like, yeah, for kids, sometimes, okay, I'll take Batman and the Ninja Turtles. Whatever, dude. You cannot put this in a fucking, $1 million movie and think that that's the same thing. Like, yeah, there's kid stuff for Batman. There's kid stuff for Superman. Superman's gonna fight like a fucking weird monster in this. Yeah, that's for the kids. I fucking get that. But where the fuck is the messaging? Where the fuck is the actual world creation? Where is the consistency where people can actually understand that, like, hey, that world exists. It's real in the movie. It's real to those characters. Because not everyone can be Deadpool. It doesn't fucking matter once there's these nonsense excuses for saying, like, well, it's not real. Forget about that movie. Even though it's set up part of this movie, forget about that part of that movie. Like, what are we doing? X-Men in the 2000s again? So this is the Superman trailer. I'm sure everyone's seen it. There's just so much in this that's just not good enough. It's just not good enough. I'm sorry. It's just not good enough. Already a bad effect shot. Already a bad shot in general. I don't like his pose. He looks good as Clark Kent. I like the hair better than I thought I would. I think this whole scene is very, like, not realistic. Like, his face is, like, away from the snow. There's, like, nothing actually on his face. The whole thing just looks posed, and it's also posed badly. Only the first Guardians movie was good. His hair looks dyed as fuck. I feel like that's such an unnatural reaction. I feel like pretty much anyone would just, like, get up and then whistle, or, like, sit up, or at least move a bit.
Take me home.
Crypto does not look real at all. I am the biggest dog person you will ever know. I fucking love dogs. That is a terrible fucking Crypto. Doesn't look like Crypto. I don't like dogs that look like that. So many people have dogs that look like that, so I guess I understand why he chose that, because he's like, oh, fucking 40% of America probably has a dog that looks like that, and it'll be popular. I get it, but that's not what the character is. And also, this dog is CGI as fuck, dude. His eyes are dead as fuck. Like, that's not a real dog, and you're never convincing me that that's a real dog. It doesn't look real. It has fucking the deadest eyes I've ever fucking seen.
Crypto. Home. Take me home.
He's breaking glass? Okay. Like, yeah, I get that that's strong, but, like, I think most superheroes could break through glass. What the fuck is glass gonna do with Superman? What the fuck is this, dude? First of all, no fucking normie watching this trailer. No regular person knows that that's a Green Lantern. Second of all, they don't give a fuck because that's none of the fucking Green Lanterns anyone gives a fuck about. Even the fucking nerds. Also, what the fuck is his hair, dude? I get that he had a fucking bowl cut in some comics. Bowl cuts look stupid, I fucking get it. They don't have to look that stupid. This bowl cut is fucking terrible. His dye job is fucking terrible. His hair looks shit, dude. What the fuck is wrong with them? Why the fuck would they have a fucking co-star in a film go through fucking hair and makeup and costuming to look like this, dude? If you're gonna, like, do a better bowl cut, do a better dye job. Like, what the fuck is this? I get that it's Nathan Fillion and he's supposed to be, like, fucking funny or whatever the fuck. He's not that fucking funny. James Gunn is not that fucking funny. Also, you just made the ugliest fucking character I have ever seen on screen. When I first saw the trailer, I thought that was Brainiac. And I was like, fuck. I said from the fucking beginning, we want a classic Superman, and he fights Brainiac, and that's fucking it. And I'm tired of fucking everyone fucking ignoring that. I saw this image, and I was like, is that fucking Brainiac? Is that this fucking version of Brainiac? I swear to God, if Brainiac is in this movie, he got me. I might hate everything else. I might hate the suit. I might think that this DC universe is fucking bullshit with all this fucking non-continuity bullshit coming over from fucking Peacemaker. But then I was like, if this is Brainiac, he looks terrible, but at least Brainiac is in the fucking movie. And it turns out, everyone's saying that that's Metamorpho. Fuck Metamorpho, dude. Are you fucking kidding me? What a waste of fucking time. Like, listen, Metamorpho can be in a movie. I don't care. It should have just been Brainiac. Lex Luthor looks like a fucking egg. I don't like Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor at all. This is terrible casting. It's Nicholas Hoult. I don't care. They should have got an unknown actor and a bigger unknown actor, someone with an actual fucking chin, to be Lex Luthor. Bad casting. That's Ultraman. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. All these people are like, oh, we have no idea. There's all these theories about who it is. It's fucking Ultraman, okay? It's just Ultraman. They gave him some costume to make it ambiguous, and he's probably going to take his mask off, and it might even be a copy of Superman. But it's Ultraman. It's just fucking Ultraman, okay? Everyone has to stop. James Gunn is not that much of a fucking genius to be like, oh, who knows? Whatever fucking twist he puts on it, I don't care. It's not that intelligent. If it turns out that it's a clone of Superman, that's not that smart. If it turns out it's fucking Bizarro, that's not that smart. It's Ultraman, okay? For all intents and purposes and guessing and online speculation, it's fucking Ultraman. And I'm tired of everyone just avoiding and like trying to give James Gunn all this like intellectual credit of like, oh, who knows? Maybe he's thinking of this other stuff. No, he's not. It's fucking Ultraman. There's a big ass U on his chest. It's Ultraman. I do not understand why the fuck Mr. Terrific has a weird ass 60s looking jetpack from the fucking Jetsons. When he has T-spheres, he's supposed to have super high technology always floating around him. They're called T-spheres. He's supposed to be able to just fucking fly whenever the fuck he wants through like nanotechnology. Having some 60s ass jetpack on some Hanna-Barbera shit is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. I stopped it on this frame just because I think this is probably the most that I'm gonna get out of this movie. It's his Clark Kent. I want to see what they do with Clark Kent. I want to see what this actor does with Clark Kent. We haven't really seen too much out of Clark Kent when it was Henry Cavill, and it's really just because there's so much conflict, so much action in those movies that there wasn't really a lot of room for that. I'm just excited to see what they do with Clark Kent as a character, like him as a person. I like how he's moving. I like the looks that he's giving. I like the acting that I can see him doing in the trailer. So that's probably what I'm most excited for, which is really, really weird. I'm most excited to see some guy in a suit act. Okay, it's a Superman movie with action and Ultraman and Lex Luthor, and the most exciting thing is an actor getting to be at a desk. Superman doesn't look good in that suit. I'm sorry. I like this actor because he's really tall. He looks the part. It looks like he's doing a pretty good job as Clark Kent. But that suit is letting him down so hard. People have talked about the difference in physique between Henry Cavill and David Cornsweet. It's not about that. Henry Cavill just did the most to get that physique, to look at the silhouette of that person and know that that's Superman. I think that David Cornsweet did a lot of work. I think that he probably looks great, but that suit is letting him down so much. They've put up some of the little advertisements, the little promos. But let me tell you, he does not look good in that Superman pose. The piping in his midsection really makes his abdomen look really wide. And when he does the Superman pose with his arms out, his arms don't look quite as big as they should be in relation to his abdomen and the rest of his body. And I get that, like, people have different proportions, and that's just what it is. And people are going to say, like, well, it's, people are shaped differently. You can have different physiques, and you can still pull it off for the screen. It's part of the costume, it's part of the character, it's part of posture, it's part of the director really recognizing what actors he's put forward and getting the best out of them. Even Henry Cavill, that looked incredible, he got huge for the role. He still used an undersuit that really filled out every single part of that suit just to make sure that that silhouette is flawless. And I feel like that's what David Cornsweet needed. I feel like David Cornsweet needed a team and a director that really recognized the importance of the iconography of that silhouette. And there have been, trimmer versions of Superman, but they don't look like that. The proportions are off. His midsection is too wide, and if it's not too wide, it's made to look too wide because of the design of the suit. You're one of the most famous directors in the world now. You're one of the most accomplished directors in the world now as far as box office goes. You have been handed so much IP that is so exclusive that the entire world would die to work with. I'm sorry, you don't have the level of attention to detail that some of your predecessors have had. Zack Snyder, I'm sorry to bring him up. I'm sorry to be one of those people. His attention to detail was incredible. And the depth to his storytelling was honestly pretty unmatched. But you can see the level of mythology that Zack Snyder delved into to create allegory for these characters. I just don't think that James Gunn has that. James Gunn is a good producer. He's a decent enough writer. I don't think that, but people think that. I don't think he's that great of a writer. I don't think Scooby Doo was that great. I feel like James Gunn has been writing Scooby Doo over and over again for his entire career. Again, I don't think he's that creative. I don't think he's that great. There's not a lot of great theming in his movies. And even when there is strong theming in his movies, they're not particularly deep. I mean, unless you're a terrible person, you feel for animals' pain. I don't have to watch an entire movie to, harp on that for me to care about animals and lives. It's very performative to me. It's things that like everyone agrees with that no one's gonna fight you on. There are other themes that are a little bit harder. In Wonder Woman, it's about fighting for those who can't fight for themselves. That's something that pretty much everyone can agree with, but not everyone can do. The level of dedication to do that, to be that kind of person, is something to aspire to. The only theme I can pull from Creature Commandos and Suicide Squad and, most of his DC work, Peacemaker as well, is that there's always a worse person? Like, what kind of theme is that? What do you mean? There's always villains, and Peacemaker feels bad about himself being a bad guy, but, he justifies his behavior because there are people and, monsters that are worse and more dangerous than he is. Suicide Squad, they're contracted by the government to go out and fight some bigger, terrible thing. And it's just like, what's the lesson here? That just, it's okay to be terrible because there's something horrific out there? Like, they had to fight fucking alien demons and shit to make this make any type of sense. What message is this? You can watch some more videos. If you like DC, I think you'll find it entertaining. Like, subscribe. I'm Orion the New God.